Hi friends, welcome to today's episode of Am I the A-hole? In today's episode, we have 4 juicy stories where bragging goes wrong, some selfish stepmom behavior, some lack of date etiquette, and in the final story, a mother who is happy to be pregnant but raising children is not on her agenda. Stay tuned and welcome to Reddit. This story is titled, Am I the a-hole for not telling my cousin my fiancé works at the same office as her husband? First, only post I mainly lacked. I thought stuff like this only happened in movies, but it happened and I'd like some unbiased opinion, more light-hearted than some of the other posts on here. I have a cousin, let's call her Kat, who married Henry early this year. We weren't close as kids. She was pretty spoiled and she would always brag about how much designer stuff she has, be really mean to people under the guise of just trying to help, etc. etc. Don't go out of our way to interact with one another, but I do see her at family events and whatnot, and we make small talk. I'm engaged to Chris, who is a software engineer. He's co-head of his department at work with 2 other people. Not too long ago, Chris was telling me about how they had some new employees and one of them sounded really familiar. He told me the name and I realized it was Kat's husband. He and Henry hadn't met face to face yet. Kat and Henry had a huge wedding. It was really nice, but all she did for months is brag about how amazing her wedding was. The wedding stuff's died down now, so recently she started going on about how wealthy her husband is and what a great lifestyle they have. One of my other aunts celebrated her 50th about a week ago. I went with Chris and Kat was there with Henry. We were chatting and Kat was saying how Henry has a fantastic new job that pays even more than his previous one. Henry chimed in and said that they were already planning to buy a new house. Kat asked what Chris does. I said he was an engineer like Henry and he has a good job too, but I'll admit I left out where he works on purpose. She smiled and nodded, then said it's fine. She understands that I'm embarrassed and want to keep it quiet. That was pretty much the end of our conversation then. When we were leaving, she pulled me aside and told me to, in quotes, let her and Henry know if we needed help with the wedding. Obviously, I knew what she meant and it was just another dig, but I said bye and left. Literally, 2 days later, I get a DM from Kat and she's furious. Well, as much as someone can be through text, that I didn't tell them that Chris was one of Henry's bosses. Henry was shocked to see him in the office and Chris made a comment. Tell Kat and me, don't help, but thanks for offering. Henry's really embarrassed and so's Kat, and she said that we made them look bad on purpose, and if she knew, she'd have never made these comments. It was duty to tell her and Henry. Chris and I had a really good laugh over this. She sent a text out to the family group chat we have saying how she was blindsided by me. A few others say that what we did was petty and wrong. So, am I the a-hole? In my opinion, I don't think OP was the a-hole in this scenario. She just didn't mention it. Kat didn't ask where she works. Kat didn't ask where OP's fiancé works. And they simply assumed. In my opinion, it was just some bragging gone wrong and they are just embarrassed by how it turned out. It's funny how these things come back to bite you when you least expect it. All the same, Reddit, Tambi, not the a-hole. Second story is titled, Am I the a-hole for getting upset and telling my dad his girlfriend didn't buy me a Starbucks drink? I, a 17-year-old female, have been living with my dad, a 45-year-old male, his girlfriend of 2 years, a 33-year-old female, and her daughter, a 13-year-old female, for a couple of months now, while my mom, 40-year-old female, is visiting my sick grandfather in Sweden. I've only ever stayed at my dad's on weekends, so it's been hard getting used to living with his girlfriend and her kid full-time. The kid is super whiny and pretty spoiled because the girlfriend dotes on her, so I usually just stay in my room. Today, girlfriend was taking her daughter on a special outing because she passed a math test, and my dad suggested I go with them for a girls' day out. I wanted to say no, but I knew that he wanted me to get to know his girlfriend and his girlfriend's daughter better, so I agreed. he gave the girlfriend $300 to spend during the outing. We spent the day going in and out of stores girlfriend's daughter liked in the mall complex. Girlfriend ended up buying her a shit ton of clothes, makeup, and other stuff I don't remember. On our way home, girlfriend stopped at the Starbucks because daughter wanted a drink and some cake pops. She ordered a drink for her and her daughter and 2 cake pops. I asked her if I could get something and she said she ran out of money and she'd get me something next time. When they got their order, I asked if I could have one of the cake pops and girlfriend said that it was her daughter's treat for hard work and it would be wrong for me to take one since I didn't do anything that deserved being rewarded. I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty upset. When we got home, my dad saw their drinks and asked where mine was. I told him that I wasn't allowed to get one because I don't deserve it. His girlfriend got upset and said I was twisting her word and the daughter just said I was being greedy and was jealous of her. I know I'm not entitled to a drink or a cake pop, but I also don't think it's wrong to be a little annoyed. Am I the a-hole? In my opinion, OP ain't the a-hole. What kind of selfish stepmom behavior is this? Because I believe that just 1 cup of coffee or a drink would not cost her that much, and I guess that since her dad gave the money to the girlfriend, it was supposed to be for all 3 of them and not just the girlfriend and the girlfriend's daughter. I think OP should have gotten at least half a cake pop and a drink of her own. At least that, and she went with them to all these stores all day long. Weren't they all tired? As you can imagine, the comments and Reddit was on fire with the comment section with a lot of the people saying obviously OP wasn't the a-hole. One of them actually encouraged her that she should be entitled to a drink and a cake pop or another treat of her choosing because her dad gave her $300. It was meant to be spent on all 3 of them for the day out. Sure, the girlfriend's daughter may have earned something special for her hard work at school, but from the sound of it, her dad intended that they all have a treat. This story is titled, Am I the a-hole for telling a guy what I do for work and letting him pay for my drinks during the whole evening? My friend, let's call her Grace, invited me to a board game bar to play and have drinks with her boyfriend, and one of their friends, I'll name Nick. We went to get drinks in pairs. Grace going with her boyfriend. Meanwhile, Nick and I stayed at the table and vice versa. So Nick and I had plenty of time to talk, just the 2 of us. Nick started the night by telling me about his great career change. He decided to quit his previous job, go to a coding bootcamp, and he got a job as a developer 1 or 2 months ago. He was very proud of himself and his new salary and told me this multiple times. He never asked me what I do for work, but talked about his new job quite a lot, occasionally saying, "Sorry, you don't understand that, haha." During the entire evening, I never told him I have been working as a software engineer for the past 4 years because he never asked, and honestly, I found it a bit interesting and entertaining. When it came to the drinks, he invited me to every single one. Don't worry about it. It's not a problem with my developer salary. I told him multiple times he doesn't have to pay for me, but he insisted. At the end of the night, when we were saying our goodbyes, he took out his phone to send me a friend request on Facebook. My job is listed on my profile, so that was when he realized that I'm a software engineer. He asked me if it's true that I'm a software engineer, and I answered yes. He asked me why I haven't told him. Why did I let him believe I was a cashier like Grace used to be? I never implied that, mind you. And why did I let him pay for everything when I probably earn more than him? I told him that he never once asked and it was his fault he assumed. He could have simply asked me about my job, but he only wanted to brag about his. And if he wants me to, I can pay him back for the drinks. He was angry and said I made a fool out of him. I think he did that, not me. But now Grace and her boyfriend are on his side too, saying that it would have cost me nothing to tell him early in the evening and I only kept it to myself for my own entertainment. Well, I did find it entertaining, but I don't really feel like I did anything wrong. Am I the a-hole? I think in this case, OP is not the a-hole. For God's sake, the guy didn't ask. It's been so long through the night that he felt it is necessary to continue ranting about his great developer job, never taking a moment to simply ask the question, "And what do you do?" because I guess that is courteous. It might not have been a date, but when you're trying to network and know other people, that would just be polite. Comment section was very divided, but one of the biggest things that caught my attention was where someone said poor OP was in a no-win situation. Shut up and listen to him brag, or say she's a software engineer with 4 years of experience and be accused of either emasculating him, downplaying his accomplishments, or having sex with the bosses to get her position. That is quite a big reflection on what it really feels like to be a woman. As you can imagine, Reddit dubbed OP not the a-hole. This story is titled, "Am I the a-hole for telling my pregnant daughter that my husband and I will have nothing to do with raising her baby in front of the entire family?" Hello, I'm a 56-year-old mother to a 33-year-old Kelly and grandmother to 16-year-old Opal. Kelly became pregnant with Opal at 16. My husband Eddie and I have always believed in having the right to choose. However, Kelly insisted that she wanted to keep the baby and not give it up for adoption. We helped a lot as Kelly was only 17 when Opal was born. However, Kelly would rarely help with parenting, even when she was available. Even asking her to watch Opal for an hour while we ran errands was an issue. It was rare that Kelly wouldn't complain about why she had to be there to look after Opal. Kelly chose not to attend college after graduation. She had a job with a flexible schedule, yet she rarely made herself available for Opal. Kelly was only home to sleep or get dressed for some party. She also relied on us to purchase supplies and book appointments for Opal. Eddie and I would have serious talks with Kelly that she needed to step up as a parent. Kelly would only make empty promises and never follow through on them. Kelly moved out when Opal was 6. Kelly comes around maybe once a fortnight and for all holidays, but Eddie and I have been the ones to raise Opal. Opal is doing extremely well. She has good friends, plays tennis, participates in volunteer projects, and plans to be a marine biologist after graduation. The school year ended for Opal last week, so we had a nice dinner to celebrate her good grade. Kelly came along with several other family members. We were all chatting and enjoying dinner together when Kelly stood up to make an announcement. She announced to us that she was pregnant with her boyfriend's child. We already were upset because this was supposed to be Opal's special moment, and Kelly announcing her pregnancy was completely inappropriate. Eddie and I said nothing, and Kelly started to say how she and her boyfriend were so busy with life right now. And Eddie and I interrupted Kelly and told her that we would have nothing to do with raising this new baby. Ed would not be providing anything for it, that is supplies, childcare, etc., etc. Kelly flipped out and an argument ensued. Kelly called us heartless and claimed we were willing to throw our grandchild away. Eddie and I called her selfish for expecting us to raise another child. We are too old to raise a baby. Kelly is 33 and needs to grow up. Give the baby up for adoption or be a parent and raise it yourself. Kelly left in tears. Now the family has broken into sides. The ones agreeing with Kelly say that we adopted Opal and are sending a message that we don't care about our newest grandchild. Others are saying we should have taken her aside privately instead of shooting her down in front of everyone, and our reaction was cruel. Eddie and I feel we had to be blunt with Kelly and not sugarcoat reality. Pa likes to show us stories from here sometimes, and so I thought it would be a good place to ask for a neutral perspective. Am I the a-hole? In my opinion, OP and her husband are not the a-hole. Because obviously, why would you expect to just pop babies and someone else raise them? The contribution from her on Opal's whole childcare and her growth, according to OP's perspective, or from OP's perspective, is very minimal. They essentially raised Opal, and she expects that she pops out this baby and her parents continue to contribute to everything. This is simply outrageous. Because what the heck? You can't just expect to be this old, although to be fair, maturity doesn't come with age, but you can't expect to just be giving birth and have your parents raise the child. That's really messed up. OP comes back with an edit. Opal is always able to express her feelings with me or Eddie. Opal also has a therapist who's available to speak whenever she needs it. She visited the therapist weekly during middle school, but now hasn't needed to see him more than once a month. We'll be taking Opal on a mall trip to make up for what happened at the celebration dinner. We spoke privately to her about this incident, and she knows we in no way view her as a burden. Our granddaughter is a blessing, and many of our happiest moments involved supporting her and watching her grow up. But Opal is 16. She doesn't need the kind of constant attention and care that a newborn baby does. We are now too old to be able to adequately raise a newborn baby, even if we wanted to. The biggest problem is that Kelly is now an adult and needs to start acting like one. Kelly is supposed to outlive us. The reality is that Eddie and I aren't going to be alive forever, for her or her children's entire lives. It's why Kelly needs to accept that she cannot expect us to take on her responsibilities and must be independent. Poppy comes back with the second edit. Several people have informed me that the part where Kelly expected us to raise the new baby was unclear, so I apologize for that. I thought it was self-explanatory, but realized none of you actually experienced what happened. Kelly talked about how busy she and her boyfriend were in their lives, then began to talk about how grateful she was that we would always look after our grandchildren, and how since we had gained so much joy from raising Opal, we would be even happier raising this second baby. After Eddie and I called her out, Kelly confirmed that she had expected us to adopt and raise the second baby as well. Kelly said she and her boyfriend did not have time to raise a baby, but that putting up the baby for adoption would be throwing it away. She assumed we, at almost 60 years old, would have no troubles or oppositions to raising a newborn baby. This is simply outrageous. You can't expect to be popping babies and have someone else raise them for you, and then pop in and out to see if they're doing fine, and be grateful. I don't even think this was gratitude, but look at it as though they are helping you one way or the other. It's just shocking to me how one would think that is the right thing to do. As you would expect, Reddit deemed OP not the a-hole, and I'll have to agree with them. Thank you for tuning into today's episode of Am I the A-hole? If you have any questions, suggestions, or comments, don't forget to leave them down in the comment section below. I'll be down with you and answer each and every one of them. See you next time, and don't forget like this video and subscribe to subreddit. Thank you, and see you next time. Bye!